Hi, and welcome back to the third video in this songwriting series. So far, I went through how to compose drum and bass tracks with EZdrummer and EZbass. Then in video 2, we added atmosphere and did some automation on EZmix effects, and now we're going to move on to the final mix. There's a lot of work to do, so let's get started. Before I start EQing anything, I'm going to add 2 EZmix signal chains to the master fader. The Mastering EZmix pack is an extremely handy tool for the master bus, and in my experience, I found a few presets that really work well together in the mix stage. Now there's a lot of discussion about when you should apply master bus processing, and I'm not really going to get into that. It's either early or late in the mix, and I think both approaches can be right, but I have found personally that with EZmix in particular, adding them early to the mix and then doing the rest of your mix through them has given me better results. The 2 presets that I'm going to use are Master Parallel Compression and Multi-Band Control. Most of the time I'll start with these and see how they sound and then make changes down the line if needed. I'm going to start on the drums by using the multi-out feature to break out the kick and snare of both the UK Pop EZX library and the Dream Pop library. I'm going to do this because I want to do some EQ and I want really quick level access to each of these channels. For the EQ, I'll start with the acoustic and electric kick drums so that I can dial in their total low end and make room for the bass. Essentially, I'm just lowering the fundamental frequency of the bass in the kick drums with a bell filter, and then I'm lowering the overall total low end. Next, I'll dial in the snare brightness using the EQ that's inside of the UK Pop EZX preset. I'm also going to check the polarity of the double kick and snare to see if it sounds better one way or the other. The default EQ that comes with Pro Tools has a polarity control, so I'll load that and try them in or out of phase. Alright, it's subtle, but I think it sounds like it blends better with the polarity reversed on the Dream Pop kit. For the bass, I'll remove some of the overall low end with a shelf, and then cut out some of the 200 Hz area where it overlaps with the guitars. I also want a gentle bell filter to bring out some of the grit in the bass. In the chorus, I doubled the bass line with a synth, so I have to be really careful about low-end buildup. So I'll add an EQ on the synth bass. Here the goal is to get it to blend with the bass as much as possible without overloading the low end and the mud in the 150 to 200 Hz area. This built up really fast on this track with all of the doubling, and it needs to be carefully controlled. All right, let's see how these EQs are working together. The last thing that I'll do to the bass is use the built-in tone control in EZbass to automate the amount of grit there is in the chorus. I want the verse to be smoother and the chorus to be more aggressive, so I can do this with CC controls by right-clicking on the tone control and then clicking Bind to CC. Then in the grid editor, you can choose this CC value and draw in automation. So I'll create some quick breakpoints by double-clicking, and then I'll adjust the tone control to around 50% for the verse and 100% for the chorus. Now going over to the guitars, as you may remember from the last video in this series, all of the guitars are recorded direct into my interface, and then the amp sound is added with EZmix too. On the verse guitar, there's an amp preset from the Neil Dorfman pack, and on the chorus we have classic amps and another Neil Dorfman preset on the other guitar. Now, I want to brighten the guitars a bit and add some more saturation. So I'll add this Trident channel strip because I really like the hardware that it's based on. And I'll also add some harmonics. These guitars are then routed to a bus where I have a very useful and easy to use preset from the Mix toolbox called Mud Be Gone. And as you can hear, it takes out the mud from the guitars. Listening to these guitars in the mix, it still seems like they need a little more excitement or edge, so I'm going to search for a preset in EZmix based on the type of effect that I want to add, which is the overloud effect. So I'll click overloud in the filters, and then I'm given a list of all the signal chains that use overloud in them. I'm also going to refine it further and select master and group bus because I'm adding this effect to a bus. I'm going to choose the maxi preset because I've used this one before and I liked it. And I'll dial it in for the guitars with the whole mix playing back. Okay, I like where this is going. Now I want to treat the EZkeys harp in the verse and the guitar reverb effect together on a bus so that I can control their dynamics and EQ the same way, because they both fill the same role in the mix, which is to add depth and space. The first thing that I'll do is commit the guitar effect so that I can do some careful clip gain automation, which will let me dial in the exact level of each reverb swell. On this effects bus, I want to make sure that there's not too much low-end buildup, so I'll roll off the lows pretty aggressively. Then I want to control the dynamics so that they never get too loud, and I'll use a simple compressor to do that. I've also created a send on this effects bus to a parallel stereo widening bus. Here I have an instance of EZmix loaded with a stereo control preset selected, and I'm using a bus because I've found that I get better results with stereo widening plugins when I blend them in parallel rather than inserting them on the track themselves. I'm also sending some Logic strings that I've added to the mix for additional width. Alright, that's it for this mix. Here's the final version of this track from start to finish. That brings us to the end of this songwriting and mixing series with the EZ line of products. If you want to learn more about these products, please click the links in the description below and download the demos to try them for yourselves. If you like this video, please remember to subscribe and click the like button below. Thanks for watching.